two kind of parallel climate justice crises happening. Obviously, one is the immense human toll, the tangible human toll in destruction and pain and suffering. But I think at the same time, we're seeing also this mental toll of, particularly for young people, not being able to envision their place on the planet. And it turns out that they're deeply connected, that if folks don't believe that there's a different future or that they can make a difference, then they won't actualize that future. And so it's this wild thing that stories are so powerful. Stories will shape the world that we build. And it's so nice to see a conference taking that seriously. I am Dr. Grace Nosek, and I study misinformation and democracy and climate justice. And now my research is moving towards how we might be able to inoculate young people against climate despair. So what brought me to climate? I just care about it because I think it's the greatest justice issue of our time. And once it became clear I could make a difference on the greatest justice issue of our time, that's all I wanted to do. I just see it as such an accelerator of so many other injustices. I didn't come to climate because I was afraid to face it for a long time. It felt so daunting and outside of something I could do. You know, I saw all these political systems failing us. And so I was just like, I don't want to look this square in the face if there's nothing I can do about it. And then I started having people come and present. And for the first time ever, they framed climate in hopeful terms. And that's what pulled me in, because again, as soon as I knew that I could make a difference, that there was movement to be had, then, I viewed it as the only fight I wanted to be in. So I was in law school, and it was Senator Sheldon Whitehouse had come to speak, and he's still a big climate proponent. And he laid out the intensity and the hardship, and then he showed all the progress we'd made in the last while. And that was so cool to be like, yeah, this is a really massive goal that we're headed towards, but look at how much we've come in the last 10 years towards people's acceptance, towards the science, the financial capabilities, all of these things. And again, nothing about the physical world had changed, right? This was just a talk by a person that I happened to be there. But suddenly I felt that there was possibility. And I've dedicated pretty much every waking moment of my life to climate change since then. If that doesn't show the power of story. And now I feel confident that my work has reached thousands and thousands and thousands of people. Now, my work on climate over all of those years and all of those different projects and volunteer work, and obviously the Climate Hub. And so I just love that. I have such a clear image of how exponential the story can be when we hand it between each other. Power of our own brain and our own imagination is so key to how humans shape the world. The social science shows that over and over again. What we believe is possible becomes what is possible. And I love that because stories can change quickly, and it means we all have power to tell stories. So in this world where we're trying to look how do I have a systemic impact, story is such a fun, juicy place to start. Rootbound is just everything I've been working on and thinking about for 20 years. I got to weave it together into one project, and it is just my absolute love letter to this planet and its beings. It's really cool to watch the story click together because I'm trying to do so many things. I'm trying to show the beauty of leaning into climate work because it has been the most meaningful, joyful thing of my life. I'm also trying to show all the systems that come together that cause climate change. And I'm trying to hit all of these points from the research that I think are under accessed by folks. I think there's stories that haven't been told, like how much the fossil fuel industry is targeting protesters, how much our right to vote is linked to our right to protest, and how there's a very powerful group trying to close both of those rights simultaneously. Really just the power of corporate propaganda. Like, I don't think we hold corporations accountable enough for climate, and not just providing the energy, but really being these master storytellers who undermined political will for climate action. Everyone now understands the framing and the language around influencers, which is really cool because that is essentially a storyteller. It's like a public scholar in some ways. And so I love getting people to think about, like, what is an influencer? Why are they successful? How do they influence? And it's often they're cool, they're doing something kind of secretly, so you don't know that they're actually endorsing a project, and they find people who are like them, and so that they get influenced, or they work with other people who have relations to a community. And I'm like, yes, 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 yes. Then I kind of show them how that's exactly what the fossil fuel industry is doing, that the fossil fuel industry is an influencer using the same tactics of kind of covert messaging. And then I love showing folks the original documents, just so they can really see that the stories they hold on climate are not automatically the only stories and not automatically true. And really coming back to that point that what they believe about climate and their ability to shape climate will be more impactful than what is actually out there in the world. I don't want to be one of these people who is only thinking about climate anxiety divorced from the terrible injustice. But it's important. Those foundations of believing that you have a future are what make you thrive. If we can't guarantee young people a future, we owe them a present. In giving them a present, we give them a future.